Hey everyone,
I'm Tim, and I've just finished a 9-month odyssey around Latin America. Now I'm reopening my diaries, and this time I'm bringing you along with me. Week by week, country by country, all the colors, all the craziness, all the food, all the music, and all the splendor. 9 months when each morning was a new adventure. The road was my companion, and Latin America cast its spell on me. This is my Latin America Diaries. Welcome back to Latin America Diaries. I got on a bus in Medellin early morning and traveled about 10 hours to the region known as Eje Cafetero, which basically translates as the coffee axis. This region is responsible for much of Colombia's coffee production, so of course it was like a pilgrimage for me. However, I was also there for Candles Day. Happy Candles Day to everyone watching. It is in fact today. And Candles Day is the beginning of the Christmas season in Colombia. It is a heartwarming and charming tradition that really ushers in the beginning of the period in this deeply religious country. It's the latest in a long line of festivals that I participated in or attended across Latin America. If you'd like to see more of them, please make sure that you like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to make sure that you are notified when I upload new videos. Also, if you like what you're seeing, please make sure that you share this video and tell your friends and family about it. It would really mean a lot to me. Eje Cafetero is centered on 3 cities, which are the capitals of their respective departments: Manizales, Pereira, and Armenia. However, the majority of the coffee production is grown on farms around villages in the hills surrounding these areas. As such, I headed for 3 key towns in the countryside around them in the south of the coffee axis: Salento, Finlandia, and Alcalá. I'll go into more detail about that in my regular weekly vlog this Friday, and that will be where I tell you all about how I was given a tour of a coffee farm and got to taste some freshly grown, roasted and brewed coffee in the Eje Cafetero. That tour was arranged by the lovely Gentil and Marta, the owners of the Braulio Hostal in Alcalá and parents of an ex-student of mine, Danilo. When I was staying there, I was so well fed and looked after and entertained. They took me out. Danilo's father, Gentil, took me to see the town of Alcalá and take a walk around the main square, which is home to this spectacular giant saman tree. And of course, the whole time they kept me pepped up on a constant diet of fresh local coffee, which I think is probably one of the best, if not the best brews in the world.
Que todo lo que brilla es oro y ha comprado una escalera al cielo.
I had also planned to be in this region for the Dia de las Velitas, which is basically translated as the Day of the Little Candles, sometimes called Candles Day, although the festival in this region takes place at nighttime, and officially it's called the Eve of the Immaculate Conception. In this deeply religious country, this is the day that it is believed that Jesus Christ was immaculately conceived, and hence the date ushers in the beginning of the Christmas season. Having known many Colombian people over the years and taught many students from Colombia, I knew that this was going to be a very vivid celebration, and I was told that one of the most special places to witness it is in the town of Quimbaya, which is not far from Alcalá. Some of Danilo's family who live outside the region had organized to be in Alcalá on that night. I hadn't planned any of this, just by chance. We all decided that we would all go off to Quimbaya together to witness this event. We arrived in town at probably about an hour before sunset and made our way from the bus station, or where the bus dropped us off on the main highway. From there, we made our way on foot into the town center. Even on the way in, we could see that some of the roads had been closed off and the candles were being set up on people's front porches and in the center of the roads. Large lanterns were being prepared for the spectacle of the night ahead. It really had the feeling of the 24th of December in Australia on Christmas Eve. Now, for those of you who grew up in Southern European or more Catholic traditions where the celebration occurs on the eve of the 24th, the best way to describe this is that the 24th of December for, I think, many Protestant countries, at least in Australia, what I'm aware of, is that it's sort of not a huge celebration night, it's sort of a night of anticipation. And that's kind of what this felt like as we were walking in and seeing everything being set up. It felt like things were getting ready and that something magical was about to happen, but that it wasn't quite happening yet. It was that more enchanting, magical feeling rather than celebratory, and it was very exciting. Just as we reached one of the corners in the town center, one of Danilo's aunties decided to stop at a street cart and buy obleas. Now, obleas, if you are not aware, are basically some of the best desserts ever invented. They are these giant wafers, smushed with dulce de leche, whipped cream, condensed milk, and sometimes a bit of chocolate, sometimes Nutella, cheese, all good stuff in there. They're sold street side all over Colombia, but I saw them especially in this region, and they're just divine. Then we continued our way into the center of town where night was beginning to fall. And then, as the sun went down, the town began to light up. Crowds came from near and far, congregating in the main square to light a candle and let it burn down as they said a prayer or two, or more. Parts of the town had been set up with candles by the municipal council. Other streets had been blocked off by companies that had decided to sponsor a candle display. For me, the most vivid image was the central cathedral in Quimbaya. Hundreds of candles and lanterns had been set up to mark the eve of the Immaculate Conception of Jesus. Back outside, walking through the town, there was still a somewhat festive, yet still anticipatory and reverential atmosphere. This was so enchanting, and it remains one of my most vivid and beautiful memories from my time in Colombia. Walking up and down the town lit up with the flickering light of candles and the hope and prayers of those who were setting it all up or participating in it. There's something about candles that simply evokes a sense of hope. And in that town, on that night, that feeling was everywhere. It was a sense of community and faith for a bright future. On the way back, somehow it felt like much further back to the main highway than it did on the way in, but we made it back to where Danilo's father picked us up and drove us back to Alcalá. We spent the rest of the evening walking around the town square in Alcalá and sat outside having drinks and coffees and chocolates by the roadside until late into the night. The next morning I woke up and moved on from Alcalá. However, that was one night, one moment and one feeling that I will never forget. It's right there in my heart. And it really set the tone for the next few weeks as I traveled around Colombia as the country began to count down towards Christmas. Make sure that you tune in again this Friday to the next episode of Latin America Diaries, when I will be showing you around the rest of Eje Cafetero. See you then.